to jump on real quick because so much light is being shed on Nate Diaz, and every time he's either offered a fight, he reportedly turns it down. And by turning it down means he doesn't respond or didn't respond in the window of time that he was given. So Dana White says that he was turning down fights. But, apparently all this has been smoothed over. So he calls out Matt Brown, wants to make a return to welterweight, which he had a fairly successful run at, 2-2. His first two fights went stellar, with a knockdown and then a devastating submission win over Marcus Davis and a knockout win over Rory Markham, a huge 170-pounder, but then followed by two devastating losses back-to-back, one to stun gun Dong Young Kim and the other to Rory McDonald. Rory McDonald was especially violent, being suplexed 4 or 5 times in the third round, being absolutely ragdolled. You could just tell the size wasn't there for Nate Diaz. Some much needed muscle mass before he could go back to 170. So Dana White shoots down the idea. He's a lightweight contender, is what he said. So he would like to see him return to the lightweight division. But everyone he calls out isn't good enough for White, isn't good enough for the matchmaker. So who's good enough for you? Since we're the ones that are fans, we're the ones that would pay to see the fight. We're the ones that, they're supposed to be entertaining. So who should he fight, right? I think it would only make sense that he fight TJ Grant. They both got taken off the list. But it depends if TJ Grant can be ready on time. If he's going to be hurt for quite some time, the fight doesn't make sense. I bring up Miles Jury. Miles Jury he wasn't an underdog, but to a lot of people, in a lot of people's minds, he was going to lose to Diego Sanchez. Diego Sanchez was going to get back to his winning ways by just beating up on this kid. Former Ultimate Fighter contender, didn't make it through the show, had some extenuating circumstances, didn't get to compete. Comes in and crushes Diego Sanchez, shocked the hell out of me, and made a super fan out of me. I am a Miles Jury fan. He did what he needed to do and looked good and comfortable, and he looked fantastic, just as good as anyone else at 155 out there against one of the best in Diego Sanchez. And I think he deserves to step up. Would a fight against Nate Diaz and Miles Jury make any sense to anybody? To me, I think it would be a great fight, but I do see Nate Diaz not easily. No fight's easy, but easily getting through Miles Jury. Of course, Matt Brown's been thrown out there and shot down. Michael Johnson, currently number 10, another Ultimate Fighter contender, on fire. This kid started out not looking so well in the UFC. Something happened to Michael Johnson where he is now a fucking beast. Michael Johnson is a fucking savage. Nate Diaz and Michael Johnson stylistically match up very well. Very well. And then there's also Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now this is one of my favorite UFC lightweights currently at the current time. He was offered a fight against Donald Cerrone, had to turn it down. He did turn the fight down. Let's see. He turned the fight down for Ramadan, the holiday of Ramadan. Cerrone will now face Jim Miller, and he's supposedly supposed to get the winner of that fight. Being that Nate Diaz already decimated both Cerrone and Miller, I don't think either one of those guys makes sense. I don't really think it makes sense for Khabib either. I mean, Khabib is just rolling fools. I think he should be ranked higher. I think he's most certainly going to hold that belt, that 155-pound UFC strap someday. And I think Nate Diaz would be a perfect person to test the waters against, the elite waters. However, one hole I've seen in the Diaz brothers game, and much more so Nate than Nick, is takedown defense. Nick was stuffing GSP's takedowns, which is definitely cannot be an easy thing to do. Nate Diaz seems to be comfortable with being taken down because he's so comfortable with being on his back, and his jiu-jitsu game is off the hook. Look how many submission wins he has. He doesn't mind being taken down. His throws are beautiful. His sweeps are just, you don't see that shit come from anyone else. Just like either Diaz brother, that style is very unique. You only get it from them. Now, would that style favor him against someone like Nurmagomedov? No, I think it would hurt him. Nurmagomedov is a stifling fighter, a mini Georges St. Pierre. In my opinion, only better. This kid was fighting bears and backed it up by uploading a YouTube video of him, 6 years old, fighting fucking bear. For real. I mean, the dude was fighting a fucking bear, wrestling a bear. And by the way, the bear was actually a fucking really good wrestler. Great double legs. This kid has been, he was doing this when he was 6 years old. He's got everything it takes to be a champion and more. Plus, once you get used to saying the name Nurmagomedov, it does click. He does have marketability. The eagle, they call him, comes out wearing a big puffy white wig, and what that is it's a warrior, some type of warrior coat or warrior. It's not really a wig. It's just something that warriors used to do to go into battle in some sort of religion or place in the world or whatever. But that's one of his beliefs. He comes out wearing it, sporting it. It's not a clown wig. Looks like one, but it's not. And he gets in there and just shuts your game down. Nate Diaz I feel would be stifled by Nurmagomedov. I feel like he would take him down, hold him down. If he got up, he would just slam him back to the ground, stifle him, and stall out a 3-round decision. It wouldn't be all that exciting for Nate's return or Nurmagomedov's, run at the title. I think it would just be another person. And he was documented as saying, quoted as saying to Ariel Helwani, that he is getting bored. That's right, he's getting bored with his matchups in the UFC. But then, wants to take a fight against either Cowboy Cerrone or Jim